Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Good day, everyone. I'm Nestor Licanto. Welcome to another edition of Beyond Our Borders. And this month, we're going to talk a little bit about the Medical City based in Manila, Philippines. And the Vice President of Marketing and Business Development is Mr. Lawrence Sibayan, who is our guest. Lawrence, ¿cómo está?
Hi, Nestor. Half a day, Guam. It's always nice to be here. We always feel at home in your show. Thank you so much for having the Medical City again.
Okay, we just got some big news a couple of weeks ago that the Philippines is opening up once again for international travelers. And so that also means that people can travel once again to the Philippines for medical treatment, which has been something that they've been looking forward to. Tell us a little bit more about the travel guidelines to the Philippines as it relates to including medical treatment.
Yeah, so actually, like starting February, we have finally opened the borders and made the restrictions a little bit more relaxed for our kababayans and returning Filipinos to easily come over to the Philippines and come back here. And of course, our visitors, the foreigners, to also have an easier time in coming here in the Philippines. So one of the things that we have actually already taken out as part of the protocols is the quarantine. So there's no more quarantine when you come over to the Philippines. You just actually need a couple of things when you come here. So first is your proof of vaccination. And the second one is your negative RT-PCR COVID test within 48 hours. Although, of course, the Philippines still welcomes people, particularly us in the healthcare industry, our brothers and sisters and our friends who may have not gotten the vaccine yet for some reason. So there's actually another protocol for that. So for those people, they're actually enjoined to do home isolation and quarantine. But for those who are fully vaccinated with negative RT-PCR result within 48 hours, they can actually just enter and are also enjoined to observe themselves while they are here in the Philippines. So it's actually made easier, particularly for those who will be needing medical care, particularly those coming here at the Medical City.
Yeah, I know that waiving the quarantine requirements was a big deal. But so the vaccination, it's accepted, the vaccination card issued by the Guam Department of Public Health?
Yes, that's correct. So we encourage everybody to, apart from your vaccination card, our referral office on the island actually assists our patients to also get in touch with the public health to get their vaccination certificate, so that just to be sure, and their entry to the Philippines will be smooth and just a breeze.
Okay, and you mentioned your referral office in Guam. Tell us a little bit more about those for those people who may not be familiar with the services that it provides.
Okay, so the Medical City Referral Office in Guam is actually located in Tamuning in the RAN Care building. It's also the same building where the public health is. So you may always just come over. We never closed even at the height of the pandemic. Okay, by closed I mean even if the office is physically closed, we were working remotely, and it's actually a good time. If there were any good things that happened during the pandemic, it actually tested the resilience of the referral office, in finding really good ways to help our patients to be able to come to the Philippines. So we were able to do that, not just on Guam, but for other neighboring islands like Palau, the Marshall Islands. So we were able to facilitate patients to come here in the Philippines despite the before really difficult and heavy restrictions imposed by the government. And right now that the protocols and the guidelines have already been relaxed, our referral office is even more helpful to those who will be coming here in the Philippines at the Medical City for their medical care. So you can just go visit the referral office, or you can also call us and reach out to us if there is anything that you would like to do in the Philippines, because one of the things that we are really campaigning about, Nestor, we were on the island about a week back, is that how the people now really have, or why people should not delay their care. Okay, so we have actually been rolling this out not just on the island but also here in the Philippines for people to still look after their health, because a lot of people have actually set it aside because for many reasons, like the restrictions, the mobility is very limited, and of course the general fear of getting COVID. But we assured the people that the medical city and the travel coming from the island to here will be safe. Okay, so we give them guidelines on how to also keep safe while we are on travel, because we cannot 100% assure that it's going to be like really really safe, especially at the airport. But we are encouraging people so that we don't want to have more heart attacks and strokes, because what we have noted is that the more people delay their care, example, the hypertensions of today could be the strokes and heart attacks of tomorrow. So that's what we would like to preclude from happening. That's why we encourage people. And now that the Philippines is finally open for general medical purposes, because before it was just only critical cases that were allowed to fly in here. But now even your executive checkup, you can so much do that, for having delayed it for a couple of years. This is the time to finally do it and check on your health, so that whatever we find, hopefully there's none, we can nip it on the bud.
Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business. Just like making fried chicken is none of theirs. Get the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich. It's finger-licking good.
Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Yeah, and so that includes the elective surgeries, elective medical procedures?
That's correct, Nestor. So almost all of the procedures are now can now freely enter the Philippines, of course with the vaccination card and the negative RT-PCR result. And we made the experience easier. I mean, it's easier as it is right now without all these restrictions, but the referral office will always give you a helping hand so that you can just focus on recuperation and recovery. We will do all the non-clinical aspects of your travel. If you would need booking for your airports, we will synchronize your schedule when you come over here so that you can really focus on your health and your recovery.
All right, and I understand that the Medical City has a promotion called Back to Health, Back to the City. Tell us about that.
Yes, so this is actually one of the campaigns that we have thought of in order for us to encourage our friends from Guam and the rest of the Pacific Islands, extending to even Melanesia, to actually take charge of their health. Okay, so now that the Philippines is finally open, we encourage everybody to look after their health, get their executive checkup, go back to their primary care physician, and review what they have delayed as part of their treatment plan. So that's the concept of get back to health. And of course, get back to the city is the medical city. Just a trivia. The medical city is actually in the heart of Metro Manila because we are located in Pasig City, and that is the true center of the greater Manila area here in the Philippines. So we encourage everybody. So this campaign actually extends discounts to our patients as much as 15%. So they will not have any more things to worry about, in delaying their care. And apart from that, as part of our health promotion, we have actually created this executive checkup package, which is the get back to health, get back to the city package, which includes 3 days, 2 nights hotel stay in their preferred hotel with the participating hotels in our list, and an executive checkup. And one of the things that I think a lot of our friends from Guam have also missed, a shopping experience here in Metro Manila. So there's what we call the shop hop, where they will be taken to different malls around the medical city, like Green Hills. There's also Mega Mall. So it's going to be really a fun experience, no? In order for them to get back to their health.
Yeah, I know Green Hills, and that's not far from where the medical city is.
Yes.
That's very popular.
Yeah, it's a stone's throw away from here. So yes, so for those who would like to actually have that experience, you can just like contact us at the referral office, and we will be very much happy to assist you. Maybe summer came in early, you know. So if you have the time already to come to the Philippines for your medical care, you know where to go. That's the medical city.
I've actually had an executive checkup at the medical city, and I can vouch for how efficient it is. Can you just elaborate on those who may have not gone through that process before?
Okay, so for those who'd like to do their executive checkup, we can always assist you through our referral office. We have been experiencing high volumes of inquiries and bookings for the executive checkup, because I can only imagine. I mean, it's been like a couple of years that you guys have not been doing that. So once you call our referral office, we will check whether you have your insurance or you are going to pay it out of your pocket, and we will schedule it according to your preference, of course. And so it's going to be the referral office, and we also have here the international patient concierge, who can assist you on going about that. So it depends. There are different packages that we can offer, but particularly for the get back to health, get back to the city, maybe you can check out our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/TMC Referral Office. So, or the Medical City Referral Office Philippines. So you can just check on what are the contents, and it depends if your insurance may cover it or if you're going to pay it out of pocket. Regardless, we can assist you in your booking and your schedule. And the good thing here is that if there is anything else that you will have to do apart from the executive checkup, our doctors are also back here. So if you would like to see them face to face, they will be very much happy to see you also here.
Yeah, and the facilities at the medical city, tell us about that. Those are world-class facilities, yeah, capabilities.
Yes, and so I think that has always been one of our value proposition. You know, we are one of the hospitals here in the Philippines with, I would say, really top-notch facilities, and there is a space here, you know, that allows you to breathe. We have the central garden. So if you must feel some room sickness already, you can just like go to the garden and stall and stroll there. And of course, we are backed up, apart from our experts, our expert physicians and specialists. We are backed up with really good technology that can really attend to your healthcare needs. And apart from that, of course, we cannot really just take it away from you, your fear from COVID. We assure you that here at the medical city, we have dedicated place, from the 2-year experience that we've had attending to both COVID and non-COVID patients. I would say that we were already able to master it, so there are dedicated places for the COVID units, and even some facilities are dedicated for them, and there are also places for the non-COVID cases. I would always joke around, Nestor, particularly during the height of the pandemic, because people were asking me why I still come here in the hospital, and I would always tell them that I would rather come to the hospital than to a grocery store, because at least in the hospital I know where the COVIDs are. In the grocery, just like everybody's there. So that has always been like a joke here in the Philippines. But yes, just proves a point that we really are after your welfare, and we'd also like to address the fear that you may have.
Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business. Just like making fried chicken is none of theirs. Get the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich. It's finger-licking good.
Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Yeah, and you mentioned the garden. That's a good place. I mean, all of us experience a little bit of anxiety when we go to a hospital because we never know, what the outcome is going to be. But that garden certainly is some place that, as you said, they can sit in there and walk a little bit and kind of breathe and take it all in and clear their thoughts in their mind. So that's always been a very valuable piece of your property. I wanted to get back to, you've been pushing the health and I imagine one of the reasons is that because if there's anything that the pandemic showed us is that those with comorbidities are the ones that are being impacted the most by the COVID, yeah? And so finding out and improving your health, doing the checkup is very important in this war that we have, if you will, against COVID. Is that the same what the Philippines is experiencing as well?
Yes. In fact, during the last surge, with the Omicron variant, we actually see less critical patients because a lot of the people, particularly in the Greater Manila area or the NCR, have actually been vaccinated. We have high rates of vaccination here in the Philippines, particularly in NCR. I would say about 90%. So when the Omicron struck, there might have been people who or there might be people who have been affected by it, but they're very mild. And here at the Medical City, we have always been thinking of bold actions in order for us to declog the hospital from a lot of cases. So we have done like our home care and all that. But of course, as you have said, we have seen some challenges, particularly for people who have comorbidities. And that's why all the more that we are encouraging people who have known comorbidities to please look after their health at this time, so that they can keep themselves healthy, and be able to fight or battle whatever virus, not particularly COVID, may affect them, together with their diabetes or their heart diseases. So it's really time to, if there is anything that this pandemic really underscored, that is, cliche as it may sound, how our health is really our wealth, and not a lot of people have actually deeply thought of that until the pandemic. And that is why we are encouraging everybody to take charge of their health and go back to the city.
Yeah. So, Law, I wanted to shift a little bit towards the business side. The news broke, I believe, earlier this year, maybe that GRMC in Guam had been sold. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and the relationship now between the Medical City in Manila and GRMC in Guam?
Yes, so that's correct. So that has already happened. During our visit last week, we also met with the new management of GRMC. It may have been sold, but the Medical City branding and the quality of service remains, because we at the Medical City remain to be the operator of the hospital as we speak. So we are doing a lot of alignment and a lot of discussions in order for us to still pull that off, that continuity of care that we are committing to the community, particularly when they come over here in the Philippines and when they go back to Guam and they may have to do some follow-up. So that is still being done today. So despite that, so I would say that it's business as usual, particularly on the service or the brand of excellence and healthcare that we are providing the people on the island and its neighboring islands as well.
Yeah. So essentially, to the patients themselves, this is transparent. There's no change as far as their care is concerned. It's more of a corporate business deal, right?
Yes, that's correct. We were just there, and we met with the new CEO and some of the new executives, and we are very optimistic on how we can still work together, in providing healthcare to the Pacific Islands.
Yeah. I wanted to look more at the big picture. I know like countries like Thailand, for example, have been very big on medical tourism. Philippines as well. How do you compare with other countries in Asia as far as the medical tourism business?
Well, in the past years, we have actually slowed down, because other neighboring countries, particularly even Malaysia, Thailand, Korea, have really invested a lot, and the government support is just really so much as far as medical tourism is concerned. But right now, I have always been in touch with the Philippine Department of Tourism and even our Department of Health on how we are going to position the medical city. You see, when we talk about medical travel or medical tourism, I think the countries prefer to be niched on a particular medical service. Like Thailand would be a go-to place for gender reassignment, or Korea for aesthetics and cosmetics. That's why during the discussion with the tourism board here in the Philippines, when we are trying to identify the key services that we can offer to the market, that is actually medical or wellness, and I think that is very apparent with what is happening right now with our relationship with Guam. So a lot of people come here for their executive checkup, and one of the things also that people come here for is the surgery, because if there is anything that we are able to keep low, that is the rate. That is the rate of our services. And of course, the English speaking people the Filipinos are good in English, and that is actually a very big plus for medical travelers coming here in the Philippines. So we may have slowed down for the past years, but the medical city, together with other institutions that are known to be providing care to international patients, are working together in order to put the Philippines on the map of medical travel and tourism.
Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business. Just like making fried chicken is none of theirs. Get the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich. It's finger-licking good.
Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Most top favorite place, just because of our historic ties and cultural ties and how close the communities are to each other over the years. Wanted to ask you also about the pandemic. Thank God we're apparently winding down. Metro Manila, in fact, has reverted back to the lowest health restrictions, alert level 1. How would you assess after 2 years how the Philippine government has handled the pandemic?
I would say that, of course, I think every government would have difficulty, because there was just simply no playbook when this happened. Even if like the most progressive countries didn't know what to do, but it was just really a matter of how agile and how fast things were implemented. So I would say that in the past couple of years, and with the numbers that we have right now, the Philippines also made some good success on controlling and implementing some of the things here in the Philippines, because we would have not gotten here where we are at level 1 restriction if these things were not implemented in the first place. So I think the response, the collective response, I would not just limit it to the government, because there were a lot of private institutions like us that have really played a crucial role, and pivotal role in in managing the situation here in the Philippines. And for 2 years, 2 years down the pandemic, we have gained experience. We have gained a lot of knowledge that we are now able to implement, so that if there is any surge that happens, we now kind of like have some playbook to go to, and we are able to manage accordingly. So I would say that the response may not have been what we expected, like like faster or whatever, but I think that somehow it worked, because we would have not been in level 1 today if it didn't.
And real quickly, how do you think the Philippine populace has been accepting of the what will, I guess, become the new normal?
Well, everybody's excited. I was just like telling you before the show started that the cars are back on the streets. The people are out, and I think that is also a good sign. Not just for the economy of the Philippines, but also that social well-being, being able to see people again outside, and doing the normal things. I would say the normal things, but I would always say that there is really no going back to normal. It's just always, this is the next normal that we have, with the masks on, with people being more cautious, particularly on their health. So it's good, the response of the Filipinos, with all the relaxed restrictions. I think it was something that we were all looking forward to, and when it finally happened, we just also went out. But there are also changes. Some companies here have fully embraced the work from home setup. So which is I think a really good thing, because not all people are actually out during the rush hours. Some of them are actually at home already. So, and another thing that also happened during the pandemic, a good thing that also happened during the pandemic, is that we had time to actually fix our public works and highways. So I was telling people that if they have like concerns on coming to the medical city, because it's a bit farther than the terminals, than the airports, it's actually made easier now. From Bonifacio Global City to the medical city, it will just take you about 10 to 15 minutes. And what's 10 to 15 minutes, right? When you come here, so you will not anymore take EDSA. So that's also a good thing that happened.
All right, we got about a minute left, Law. So final word for the people of Guam.
So again, well, Guam has always been a very good place to go to, and it's always in my heart. That's why I'm going back there in a week. Well, I'd like to invite everybody to please consider coming to the Philippines and look after your health. We actually have an ongoing promo right now, the Get Back to Health, Get Back to the City, where you can actually enjoy as much as 15% discount. And you can also avail of our special executive checkup package, which includes an executive checkup, a 3 days, 2 nights stay in your preferred partner hotel, and a shop hop experience. It is as low as $530. So if you would like to get in touch with us, you can actually visit us at the Medical City Referral Office Philippines. It's located at the South Marine Corps Drive in Rancare Building in Tamuning, or you can contact our referral office at 645-5646 or 671-988-627 and look for either Miss Raquel Ramos or April Concepcion. So we all look forward to seeing you here and providing the healthcare that you need at the Medical City.
All right, thank you. Lawrence Sibayan, the Assistant Vice President for Marketing and Business Development for the Medical City. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nestor Licanto. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time on Beyond Our Borders.
Beyond Our Borders is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.